Well, that was impromptu. I didn't fucking plan that. Did I hit a button by accident? It seemed like maybe I did. Yeah, didn't plan to start filming right away, but I guess it just kind of happened. What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome back from another long hiatus for VHP Engines. I know a couple weeks ago I gave you all a little video, a little engine stuff, but I mean, considering this is the more traditional style of VHP engines, you guys haven't had something like this in a long time. Well, it does feel like fucking forever. Anyway, as the video is titled, the perfect car does exist, guys, and I had it for a long time, and I didn't realize it until I started working for Freightliner, and that is because when I started working for Freightliner, I started working the day again. For those of you guys that have been on me for a long time, you know that I've been working for nights for the longest time. So, you know, I kind of tend to drive the way traffic dictates. There's no real traffic at nighttime if you're going to work at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's pretty smooth. You just get in the, the fast lane, set cruise control to 80 something miles an hour, and just cruise to work. Great for gas mileage, great to chill. Mad boring though. Now, because I work during the daytime, I drive literally about the same distance as before. It's a little bit, the Freightliner dealership is further down, a little bit further down the road. It's literally one extra stop down the road from where I used to go. But South Florida traffic is insane. So every day I go to work, I dread it because I'm a little nervous. I'm either going to blow up the car or die. Because, as traffic dictates, it's mad traffic. And if I just get into a lane and allow myself to go, the speed would be stop and go at 60 miles an hour. I don't have time for that shit. I need to get to work. So it's a little bit of a race to get to work every day. Now, a lot of people that I work with also are coming from Miami or further down in Fort Lauderdale and other places in Broward County. Most of the people I work with have seen me go to work. And they, everybody's been shocked. They're like, that's a race car. It's a race car. I'm like, nah, the car's not that fast. But when you see it doing its thing through traffic, it looks amazingly fast, apparently. But, even like there's a guy that I work with that has a 400 plus horsepower Volkswagen GTI that would absolutely smoke the dog shit out of the Type R. But even he was asking me, he's like, man, do you have like aftermarket suspension on that car? I'm like, no, everything's completely stock. And he's just like, I see the way you like, because I've said for the longest time that the car's not great like in a straight line. It gets embarrassed by most cars that are sporty. But in going through traffic, that's exactly what the car was made for. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It handles perfectly. It fucking cut the sharpest corners. I can make the car do like a 4-wheel drift to go like a Fast and Furious, like and then slide straight in. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a fun thing, and it's just like the way the car handles, like when you cut around people. It's insane, like how well balanced the car is. He goes, I thought for sure you're gonna lose it, and you just snapped right the fuck in and took off. So same thing like with strength limits or whatnot. Like Superman, like my favorite fucking Superman or superhero movie, Man of Steel. When Jarrell's giving Soups the old stock, he's like, you don't really know what your limits are until you push your limits. And I drove the Type R pretty mundanely for the first 2 years I had it. I mean, of course, I got on it from time to time, but for the most part, I didn't really push it through the paces. And if I did, it was like a 30-second sprint, something like that, not where it was sustained. It's a 25-mile drive to work, and it's a race the whole way. From the moment I get onto the turnpike until the moment I'm pulling into the parking lot of work, it's just fucking go. Like, just as an example, I'm always in R mode now. My gas mileage went from 220 to 230 miles per gallon, per tank, to dropping down to 160, 150 miles per trip per fill up. And it sucks, and it's frustrating. I don't like to have to do that, but I can't. I'd be lying if I was saying that I didn't enjoy the fuck out of driving this car the way I do. So when I say like the perfect car, one of the things I used to tell I still tell everybody, is that the car isn't worth the $40,000-$50,000 that these cars are asking for brand new. recently, the Honda dealership that I bought the FK8 from called. They're like, well, yeah, new Type R. You've had the car for 3 years. Maybe want to trade it in. I'm like, what's the price tag on it? $52,000. I'm like, nah, $52,000 for pretty much the same car. I'm good. Now my shit is getting up there in mileage, which is why I say I'm a little nervous about the longevity, the health of the engine, because the 52,000 miles on it, and the past year has been heavy duty usage. I live, at high RPM and high speed, like cruising at 100 miles an hour, sprinting through traffic, allegedly. So it does make me a little nervous. I am at the point where I really, really, really want to invest in a short block. Now those are coming down in price. They're becoming more available because you can use the FK or the K20C out of the Accord, but it's just getting a hold of them. They are coming down in price, but they're kind of scattered apart. They're not like a lot of them that are local. I would have to drive a mission to go get one, and there's a guy that's been selling one for the longest time. And like St. Augustine, which would be like a fucking day. Like it would be like a 4.5 hour drive for me to get there. So even if I went there and back, we're talking about like 8-9 hours on a trip to pick up a short block, which I'm not at that point where I'm willing to do that just yet. So anyway, and I'm sorry. So I enjoyed the fuck out of driving this car. I've always said that the car was great. It's the best production car, like out of factory. Done nothing, absolutely nothing to it. I've had more fun in this car than any car I've ever owned. Mind you, I've owned a couple of 400 horsepower, 300 horsepower Hondas before. They're light and fast as fuck. But the capabilities of this thing, like the stability of this thing, I've never driven anything that feels like it's so pretty well planted that I can get through everything. Like I get trolled all the time on the highway, but I just laugh because I know that I chill out. I let the faster car go ahead of me, and in traffic, because I'm like, you're not as insane as I am. And I know once we get into traffic, you're in my fucking world, and you're not going to get away from me. And I troll people all the time. And of course I keep a safe distance because I don't ever want anybody getting paranoid or mad, try and brake check me. I just stay in their mirrors at all times, like, hey, I'm right here behind you, dude. And then you're 100 horsepower over me, but you're just not going to get away. You can't. I trolled a guy in a Ferrari because he kept fucking like, and I said, okay, I stayed behind him for a while, and then once we got to the point where I had a pocket that he couldn't fit through, I was gone. And I like stretched the dog shit out of him, so much to the point that when I finally slowed down at my exit to let him pass, he's just like, like, props, dude. I was like, yeah, you're faster by a lot, but not in traffic, bitch. So I absolutely love driving the car, and I've always said that if you can get the car to close to MSRP, then it would be a steal. Like, it beats everything on the market. There's nothing out there that does it as well without doing a single thing to it. And now I'm looking at CarMax. I'm seeing an FK8 for $32,900, another one for $37,900, another one at $39,000, another one at $39,000, another one at $35,000, and another one at $39,000. Now, so for the $32,000 or the $33,000 FK8, it's 82,000 miles on it. Or no, it's 82,000. Okay, yeah, 82,000 miles on it. The 37 one has got 29,000 miles. The 39 has 8,000 miles. The other 39 has 10,000 miles. The 35 has 49,000 miles. The other 39 has 9,000 miles. Now, me personally, I think the $35,000 is like the sweet spot for that car. Like, you can't really argue that. Like, anything above that, it's kind of like, I wouldn't want to do. But right at 35,000 miles, or right at $35,000, you got 49,000 miles on it. So you're like halfway to 100K. You get your little extended warranty on it, and that's once you start getting to 100Ks, when you start getting, you're into that. I'm kind of a worn engine. You may be needing to do some shit, and depending on where you live, depending on how much mileage you're going to put on it on the average, how long it's going to take you to get there. I've owned the car for 3 years. I got it at like 24,000 miles. I'm at 52 or 53,000 miles right now, just from daily driving during the week to and from work. I don't take it on road trips or go anywhere in it. It's only taken one road trip away from home because we needed 2 cars for where we were going. We were picking some people up, and that was one trip to Orlando, which is a couple hundred miles away. Not saying that I wouldn't enjoy driving on a road trip. Like, I still want to take it down to the Keys, but I just, I haven't done it yet. But again, just to point out, like, the fact that, as much as I've talked shit about the K20C and the L15 being pieces of shit, and I still stand by the fact that the K20C, now, of course, it's not dog shit like the L15 is, but it is still severely limited on what you can do, which is why I think it's so important that whatever you're buying, that you don't have to worry about modding. I wouldn't want to have to buy a car, spend fucking crazy amounts of modern money on it to get into this fucking thing, not be satisfied with it, and then have to spend thousands more on modifications. So if you can get into an FK8 with a decent amount of on the lower side of mileage in the mid 30,000s, I think is an absolute steal. Especially if you've never really experienced any kind of like fast car before. If you're not spoiled on straight line speed, like if you're okay, like you appreciate just handling, turning sharp corners at really fun speeds, getting through traffic on a regular, it's hard pressed to beat this car. It is absolutely fucking phenomenal, and I'm really happy that I stuck out with the car as long as I did, because for sure this car is going to be with me forever. Like, I'm not going to get rid of this car. Out of all the cars I've ever owned that I said that I would like to take to my grave, the FK8 wound up being the car that finally fit that bill. It's fully functional, has AC right around the 300 horsepower mark. Like, it's a dream to drive. The car is fucking amazing. Now, I don't know how the Integra Type S or the new FK or FL5 handle or drive or whatnot, but I would imagine if it's anything like what the FK8 is, or like they're supposedly improved on. Didn't the FL5 break the records for the Nürburgring that the FK8 had? Well, if it did, man, if the FL5 really is an improvement on the handling capabilities of what the Type R is, because I know it's only like 5 or 10 horsepower more or whatnot, and I think that's even like on a dig, the FL5 is faster, but on a roll, the FK8 is faster or whatnot. I just know that their straight line speed is close enough where it doesn't really matter. And I guess at that point, it would just be like, what body style do you prefer more? I appreciate the body lines, and I really like the interior of the FL5 over the FK8. But overall, I like the exterior body lines. I like that Hot Wheels style look. I think the boy racer look that everybody hated on is actually fucking great. Like, so the FK8, again, is a perfect car, and it just took me a couple years to really wake up to it and appreciate what I have. Now, do I still wish, do I still want to get another car? Yes, I do. But I guess it really, at this point, I think that I need to test drive the Supra to see if I really feel comfortable inside of it, because I know that I can get overhyped for a car and not really enjoy it after I get it and have some buyer's remorse. S2000 for one. So I would like to take a drive and really focus on how it feels as being that Supra, to really eliminate whether that car is something I want to get or not. Because right now, that car is the one I keep coming back to most often as a car that I really, really want. But it's also kind of expensive, and it's kind of hard to justify the cost of what that car is compared to something like the C8 Corvette, which is already rapidly coming down in price. So I've got a couple more years to pay off the Type R. I'm always hoping that I come up again, that the pay starts to come up where I could potentially pay it off sooner. I don't know. I mean, in a perfect world, I pay it for 2 more years and I take income tax and just like knock a big chunk off the last year and get it taken care of. Because the sooner I get it paid for, then the sooner I can start thinking about, building another block to throw in there. Because the only thing that I would need this car to do to be like, I would die a happy man, is just get it to 400 horsepower. Like, I don't even really, like I said, the suspension is amazing. Like, I really don't see the need to change anything, except for maybe like if the time comes when shit starts to wear out, to just buy new OEM parts. Because I've got no complaints of how the car handles and how it feels. And of course, I still always say, like once you start getting like 140 miles an hour, any car starts to feel a little sketchy. But, I still have not yet driven a car where I feel like 100% comfortable, like 140 miles an hour. But it is what it is. And I know that there's people who argue with me on that, to say that like the car feels fine. It may be just my paranoia. And if you're wondering like how I can say that about that kind of speed, but at the same time duck through traffic, it's because my driving style has changed as I've gotten older, and I do take a lot less risk. I'm a lot more conscientious of my life. I got 2 kids and a wife that depend on me, so despite the fact that I cut through traffic the way I do, I never do it. I don't do it like I used to when I was a kid, where I would force the issue. Like, I never force myself into a spot. If you're, I mean, anybody who's driven in a city, you see it from time to time where you'll see people come hauling ass and then they'll do this shit like behind people trying to force somebody to move. But that just pisses people off. That just makes them slam on the brakes on you. That just makes them slow down. So while I will sprint behind somebody, my stopping point is already picked out well ahead of the road because I'm watching the entire highway to see where gaps are at. If I don't see any more gaps, if I see it start to close up, then I pick a spot where I'm going to go and I stop. And when I get there, I slow down well before I come up behind that person. So that way, when I am coming in behind the person I'm going to stop behind, it's not aggressive. So that way I'm not going to trigger any aggressive response from whoever I'm coming behind. So, and then when I take off to go again, I make sure that there's well enough space around me, that there's gaps that I'm going to. So I just, I learned that patience works out a lot better. If you try to force the issue, you're going to miss the openings that are naturally opening up around you on the highway because you're hyper focused on just trying to get through the spot that you're at. And it works. I still smash everybody in traffic. All right, guys. So this went way longer than I expected. 15 fucking minutes. I was hoping I'd get at least 5 out of this. But yeah, I guess I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, and I just wanted to get more driving in before I came back to it. And I got some stuff, some more topics in for you right after this. So again, guys, I appreciate those of you that have checked in on me from time to time. I know that I don't always respond to comments, but I do always read them, and I'm always getting them. Like it's not like a huge brush, like I'm getting dozens of comments every day. 2 or 3 every couple of days. So I do check in. And I see every once in a while, at least once a week, I'm always checking in to see what people are saying. And I just tend to skip over the comments that I know where people are just commenting on the video they didn't watch. So, a lot of times, if I were answering you, the answer would be click rewind and rewatch the video because the answer's there. Most people they want instant gratification. They're just checking in. They go to the video, title what they want. The video's 10 minutes long. They don't want to listen to me talk, so they just ask the question right away. So for you guys that do come in and ask questions, like legitimately just, checking in and wondering what's going on, I appreciate that. I see y'all. So again, I got some more stuff coming up behind this. Thanks for watching and peace.